Every summer from when I was about 5 until I was 13, my family, or the Fab Five as we called ourselves, along with 3 other families would pack up our cars filled to the roof and drive to Quechee, Vermont to go camping. As a family of 5, our 2005 Toyota Sienna was stuffed with 2 tents, multiple buckets of food and cooking supplies, 2 fed-up parents, and 3 little kids that never stopped yelling. The 2.5-hour car drive was always filled with arguments, but was also always filled with endless rounds of categories and I'm going camping and I'm bringing. Through all the bickering in the games, there's no other group of people I would want to spend hours with in the car. I've grown up very fortunate in my life. I have a mom and a dad, 2 siblings, a roof over my head, clothes on my back, and I've never had to worry about where the next meal was going to come from. My parents have always been very supportive of me and my siblings very supportive of each other. When I sat down to pick my oratory topic, I knew I wanted to write about my family. I'd been thinking of all the crazy stories that makes my family, and every member of my family has something in common. They're all strong. They each contain this trait, but in a different way. So let's start with my brother. My brother Jack and I have never had the best relationship. We were always the ones arguing, and we couldn't hang alone together for more than 10 minutes without it ending in an argument or me crying. Those tears were either inflicted from verbal abuse or physical when I annoyed my brother way beyond the point I should have. God forbid I stepped a toe in his room, moved his Xbox controller, took the remote when he called fives, or even looked at him the wrong way, World War III would start. My whole childhood, I was convinced that Jack hated me, but I know he doesn't, sometimes. I'm his annoying little sister, that's my job, but I think I've learned the boundaries of how annoying I can be. The greatest and worst, but mostly the greatest times we have shared together were playing mini hockey when we were younger. These 30-minute matches were filled with diving plays, holes in the walls, almost broken fingers, and the most fun I've ever had with my brother. We would play best 2 out of 3, but only if I lost the first game, and checking was 100% okay. We would line up the couches and the pillows in the middle of our basement to form a little rink with the wall on the other side. The best was when he would pick me up and toss me to the couches, then go get the ball and whack it into the net because I was no longer there to block it. I would have bruises all over my stomach and arms and from his slap shot, and I now blame mini hockey anytime my knees hurt. But over time, we grew up. Jack grew up first, of course, and our mini hockey games slowly faded away. This gave me nothing to look forward to when I got home from school, and instead of playing with his sister, Jack got an Xbox and would talk to his friends while playing Halo, Minecraft, and Grand Theft Auto. I would beg Jack to let me play with him, but he very rarely let me. I wasn't even allowed to play when he wasn't home because he would check the game history to make sure that I didn't. After all, although I was annoying as can be, I looked up to my brother and I always wanted to impress him. Jack has never been one to display emotion, especially towards me, and I never understood why. I thought he was just that type of kid that would come home from school and lock themselves into their room until the next morning, only occasionally coming out for dinner. It wasn't until one night freshman year where I kind of understood what was going on. I was in my room, and one room over, he was having a conversation with my mom about how he had his whole life planned out. He was going to Mass Maritime, he was going to graduate with a job right after college, he would work 6 months on, 6 months off, make $100,000 a year, and retire early. But in this 45-minute conversation, filled with yelling and tears, the most true side of him came out that I had never seen before. I could tell he didn't want to share these goals with us for the fear of being told that he couldn't do it or that they weren't realistic enough. I can tell you 3 years later that he's on his way to achieving this goal for sure. He may currently be miserable, but he sees the end goal, and that's what keeps him going. My brother has taught me to be strong, physically and mentally. He's taught me how to be truthful with myself and how to let loose and have fun sometimes. There have been many tipping points in our relationship, but I can tell you this is the best it's been. I can't wait for more arguments and Mercedes CLA 45 AMG Edition 1 drives with you, and I can't wait to see you accomplish all your goals at Mass Maritime. See you out on the water sometime, bud. My dad is nothing but a maverick. If you need proof, just ask my mom about that time he fell out of a window trying to climb to our dorm room in college. Or that time he drunkenly lit fireworks on a makeshift stand on the side of a hill and almost killed me. Or that time he introduced himself to my sister's new boyfriend with a running chainsaw in hand. Aside from my dad being an absolute champ, he's also my big teddy bear. I don't like crying, especially not in public, but as soon as I see him tear up or just sniffle a little, I'll bawl. For as long as I can remember, my dad has had a bad back. I blame it on him falling out that window in college, but you can blame it on the endless work he does around our house. In my family, my mom is typically the one making dinner, doing the laundry, and doing the dishes, and my dad is the one outside mowing the lawn, raking the leaves, and building sheds. But his bad back has rarely stopped him from a project. Even now, just 5 months after yet another back surgery, I come home to him cutting down trees and shoveling sheets of leftover ice off the driveway. I also blame my siblings and myself for being spoiled brats when we were younger, letting him do all the work and rarely helping. Now if I see him trying to carry in firewood from the stacks in our backyard, I'll yell at him to sit down and try and do it for him. There's way more we can blame for his bad back, like standing at the end of the rink at every single one of me and my brother's hockey games, or when he tries to water ski after having been couch-ridden the week before, or when he tries to do a front flip into the pool and ends up just doing a backflop. I can always count on my dad to make me smile and for the best, most unnecessary explanations that do not need one. My dad's rants are probably the funniest thing about him. Something as simple as me taking too big of a first serving turns into how taxes are too high and this house is so goddamn cold. My point is, he's the most intelligent man I know to this day, and I know for a fact I will never meet anyone more smarter and hardworking than him. My dad has taught me to be big and bold, but also let out my emotions. He's taught me to take smaller servings because my eyes are bigger than my stomach, and he has taught me how to be myself and how to be a maverick. I can't wait till we can finally get a dog. My sister Megan is my rock, my big sister, my rock, and who I look up to most. She always knows what to wear, what to say, and what to do. She's the first child and the smartest. She's also the wisest and has been through the most. When my sister was in high school, she was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, but I never knew. To me, she was always smiling and happy, and I never saw her on a bad day, even though now I knew there were plenty. One day, my sister and I were getting ready to go shopping together. I walked into her room while she was pulling up her boots over her socks, and I noticed something on her wrist. It was when I looked past the purple ink that spelled out the word brave that startled me. Her wrist was covered in 1,000 little lines. I was a bit far from her, so I waited to get a closer look. Once we got into the car, she put her hand up on the wheel, and yep, there they were. We had learned about self-harm in school, but never did I think my sister would do something like that. I never brought it up to her, even to this day. This was when I first learned that she had depression, and little signs of it became more and more frequent and obvious. Simple tasks like cleaning her room turned into climbing Mount Everest, and I later learned that things like an extra-long soccer practice meant she was with her therapist. Although I never directly talked to her about it, I knew that she was the same big sister she always was, and nothing could change that. 6 years later, Megan is about to become a nurse, a psych nurse ironically, and will help people with the same things that she struggled with in high school. My sister is the first person I go to with anything, whether that's with school or sports or life advice. Now let me tell you, if you ever need life advice, hit my sister up. In February, I went to visit her at school and we played this game called the voting game with her roommates. For those that don't know the game, it's when you draw a card that says who's the most likely to do something, and then everyone votes for who they think it matches. Some examples are who got the best grades in high school, and then everyone kind of stumbles through their thoughts and picks Megan. Or who's the most likely to pick a fight drunk, and with no hesitation, everyone shouts Megan. Or who's most likely to go to for life advice, and everyone chose Megan. It's funny to learn that everyone agrees with me that she does give the greatest life advice. She responded to us with, "I'm glad you guys all think that when my life is currently falling apart." My favorite memories with Megan include sitting on her bed watching her try to clean her room, speeding down the highway blasting Quinn with all the windows down even though it's 20 degrees out, and being her +1 at the infamous Woodland Employee Christmas Party, even though I wasn't invited this year. Megan has taught me to be confident and brave. She has taught me that pain is beauty and beauty is pain. She taught me to enjoy the little things in life and to always remember where you come from. I cannot wait until you move to Minnesota and accomplish your dreams of helping others. I can't promise I'm going to come visit because what the hell is in Minnesota, but just know I'll be cheering you on all the way from West Bum, New York. I love you, Bish. I ain't never going to stop loving you, Bish. Then there's my mom. My mom will stop at nothing to make me happy, unless it's buying me clothes, because she hates buying me clothes. You see, my mom and I have very different styles. Anything she thinks is cute, I think is not. And anything I think is cute, nope, I messed up. Anything that I think is cute, she thinks is not. And anything she thinks is cute, I think is downright heinous. Not always to that extreme, but we were recently in TJ Maxx looking for boohoo dresses when we were strolling through the clearance rack, when she would come across a dress and say, "Oh, this is super cute." Then I proceeded to rip the dress from her hand, put it back on the rack, and simply say, "No, it's not." The lady across the aisle from us chuckled and made a little eek face like my mom should never say something is cute again. I think out of all the memories with my mom, as weird as it sounds, fitting rooms are where we laugh the absolute most. Like that time we went to Dick's to get me some golf shorts, or that time at Nordstrom Rack when I put this giant neon pink dress in the cart, even though there was not a chance we would buy it, just to try it on and make fun of it. That was one of the funniest moments with my mom ever. On a more serious note, my mom is my mom. She does all the things that moms do, like judge me and love me, and stay with me when I'm sick, and come to all my games. So when it comes to gifts, I never know what to do. My favorite quote is, "Christmas shopping is hard for my mom when she deserves an island, but all I can afford is a candle." No quote has resonated with me more. I love my mom more than words can display, like any kid should. My mom is strong because she's the backbone to the whole family, the one that cleans and makes food, the one that teaches us adult things and has the difficult conversations with us when we mess up, but still manages to love us unconditionally. I can always count on her to listen to my obnoxious rants and to record me making a fool of myself, even though I've told her countless times not to. My mom taught me how to be myself, how to follow the rules, and how to be a good person. I can't wait to see you at every one of my hockey games next year, even though I'll be 6 hours away. I know I'll look across the freezer and see you wearing not a green Brooks scarf, but a green William Smith scarf. See you there, Mom. I've been through a lot in my short 17 years of life, but my family's strength is something I can always rely on. If my brother can stand outside for hours on watch at 4 a.m., then I can skate this one last sprint. If my sister can conquer depression, then I can conquer this math test. If my dad can build a shed in our backyard, then I can pick up a few sticks for him. If my mom can manage 3 kids and keep our whole family happy, then I can do the dishes for her and clear the table every once in a while. I can always count on Jack to tell me the truth, even the brutal truths. I can always count on Megan to make me smile ear to ear. I can always count on my dad if I need the biggest, tightest hugs. And I can always count on my mom if I need a nice, long back rub. My family means more to me than anything else. We will always be the Fab Five. Thank you.